This is your last chance, once every 84 years. Uranus and Mars in collaboration can be incredibly intense. Electric bolts of a radical change that liberate you, that breaks you free, that breaks you through area or situation in our lives that has kept us stuck. Practice makes perfect. This is your last square, the closing square. What I'm going to do is whip through the sky with you. We're going to talk about your life, your last chance. Where will freedom, rebellion, and breakthrough and break free energy be offered up to you by the end of this week?
Lunatic Astrology.
The week ahead, astrology brings us the possibility of breaking free and breaking through some area or situation in our lives that has kept us stuck. In fact, this is called the Taurus whole sign house in your sky relative to the Aquarius sky. In today's video for the 23rd of February to add 7 days, wherever that takes us, March the 1st, this is your astrology. This is a Uranus and Mars story, and Uranus and Mars in collaboration can be incredibly intense. In fact, in world events, as it builds up, and I'm recording on Sunday, February 22nd, and this Mars-Uranus activation is exact on the 27th of February, this energy literally often leads to civil disruptions, rebellions, and acts of sudden and shocking violence. Well, as I record this today in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, there is indeed some situation going on with the unaliving of a cartel member aided and abetted by USA intelligence, and there is chaos in that town in Mexico. This makes sense for Mexico because Mexico is under the energy of an eclipse coming up in March, on the 3rd of March, and we'll talk about that briefly in the world astrology. But your chart, your sky isn't about a revolution, a rebellion, or civil disobedience or anything like that necessarily, but it is about one singular thing. I want you to time travel back to around 2019 when we first began to experience Uranus traveling through a fixed sign, an earth sign, Taurus, and this is very destabilizing energy. This is an energy that can bring earthquakes. This is an energy that can bring disruptions of currencies and stock markets and systems of agriculture even, and extreme weather patterns. And Uranus began that journey in 2018, but in earnest in 2019, full on. And every 2 years since then, we've had Mars conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This occurred 3 times. It occurred in memory serves me, January of 2021, around August the 2nd of 2022, and the third conjunction of Mars and Uranus in the sign of Taurus occurred in July of 2024. And so this is the end point of that last conjunction. When we talk about your sign today, and I'm not going to be here a long time, I'm on day 7 of the flu. I know it's hair and makeup and somewhat crazy good lighting maybe, but let me tell you, this girl coming back on an airplane, WestJet, from Hawaii is not going to do that again. It was jam-packed full. I should have had an oxygen mask and sat in first class, and I did get sick. But I want to say to you guys that you're only going to do this Mars-Uranus dance in Taurus, once every 80 odd years, 84 years. So that makes it kind of like a once in a lifetime period of around 7 years where you can have electric bolts of a radical change and disruption of patterns, like a pattern interrupt that liberates you, that breaks you free, that breaks you through in your Taurus sky, particularly. So today's video, we're going to talk about your last in a lifetime chance to break free and break through of some pattern or place in your life where stuckness is happening, where rigidity is happening, where you feel like you're fixed in place. Someone sprayed a fixative on some part of your life and now there's no change allowed. Just like an artist has a canvas and they finish it up and they spray the fixative on it, meaning no more edits, no more rewrites, no more anything. It's like when a publisher puts an article out in a newspaper or magazine, they call it putting it to bed, but it means it's fixed, the article's done, and it's going into the final unfixable last version. In your life, in some part of your story, I'll tell you about that in your whole sign house, this is your last chance to make a break free and breakthrough energy happen. And you've been doing this practice makes perfect, starting in 2021, January, you reignited there in August of 22, you reignited there in July of 24, and lo and behold, This is your last square, the closing square from that ignition point. I'm going to show you the sky. I'm going to explain a little astrology to you. I want you to see what we're looking at. And I'm going to give you a simple delineation of what it is you're trying to finalize in your Taurus whole sign house. And it's coming off most specifically July of 2024's conjunction between Uranus and Mars in Taurus. In the meantime, good old Ren Butler, the archetypal universe, a dear friend and a fellow astrologer, and at one point my teacher. I studied with him in 2021, I believe, or 2021, yeah. And in his wonderful book, he has a lot of stuff to say about Mars and Uranus, but he says its dynamic urges towards freedom, independence, determined cravings for thrills or excitement, sudden breakthroughs and rushes of energy, and an electric yang enthusiasm. Now, it can also be rash actions, flashes of reckless courage and flashes of anger. It can be actually as bad as when we are literally doing things that are, out of control to do with violence. And so when we see rebellion, sure, but we can also see like flashpoints for violence that seems surprising, shocking, or unexpected. By the way, also earthquakes. I've been worried about the California earthquakes based on 2 dreams plus the astrology. I still have a bad feeling about that. I'm particularly concerned for Northern California and parts of Oregon. And this is a square between Uranus and the sign of Earth, where it's shaking up the Earth, and on a star Algol, sorry guys, decapitation, rotting bodies and all of that, and mass death, but also, unfortunately, Mars in Aquarius, meaning impacting with Lord Pluto, the Lord of Death, the masses or collectives or societies or groups of people. So we have that. We do have that, unfortunately, at a risk of a particular challenge. But also, I want to draw your attention to a great quote that I could completely, absolutely adore, because I think it speaks to what the best of Mars and Uranus can be. That's why it can be revolutionary and radical and rebellious and bring freedom through that rebellious urge. And this is such a great quote. All right. So it's by Jean Kerr, who has a Mars-Uranus activation conjunct in her natal chart. And Jean Kerr says, K-E-R, Kerr, if you can keep your head when people all around you are losing theirs, it's just possible you have not quite grasped the situation. And I have to say, if you're following me in Step and Stack, I talk about the obligers and the upholders, or the sheeple, who don't really grasp the situation until the canaries in the coal mines, which are the rebels and the questioners. I'm a questioner. Start going quack, 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 or eek, 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 pay attention. If you haven't grasped the situation of the E-Files, for example, that it is a global situation connected to a blackmail operation run by a particular nation in the Middle East with this letter starts with I, you have missed the story. Now, I'm not going to do a lot of world astrology. I know a lot of you aren't into it, but I will tell you a few things. This particular cycle began on around the 26th degree of Taurus on a difficult star Algol on the midheaven of President Donald Trump. This happened in mid-July of 2024. That led me and other amazing astrologers, including one of my fellow friends and astrologers, Dan Waits, to speculate a couple weeks before this conjunction that Donald Trump may be in harm's way from a violent and energy of some attempt at decapitation, which means unaliving. That's because of the star Algol, Mars, Uranus, all bundled up together, once in a lifetime conjunction on his midheaven. And indeed, that did bear out as apparent near an attempt on his life. It did bear out as that's what the news story said. If you believe it's a conspiracy, that maybe it wasn't real and it was like a staged event, I'm okay with that too. I'm not saying that's true or not true. I'm just saying the sky portended a particular shattering event on his high noon midheaven that could indicate danger of unaliving through decapitation. Apparently the bullet went by his ear, close enough, right? But this means that Donald Trump and his presidency is intimately bound to this energy that began in July of 2024. And therefore, the cycles that continued forward in the square opposition and the final square this Friday, the 27th, are very important. They're very much connected to his presidency and actions he's been taking within the context of his presidency. For example, in June of 25, right, the Mars square happened, and that would be Mars squaring Uranus in June of 2025 from the opening square. And we saw the United States follow the advice of the nation of IL in the Middle East and go ahead and strike Iran, right? So we saw that in June of 25. And then when we had the opposition in November of 2025, what we saw was the nation of Iran actually intercepting an oil tanker run by British and some other country in the Strait of Hormuz filled with gas, kind of like the, what do you call it? The Revolution Army intercepted an oil tanker. So that was an episode connected to that country. But at the very same time, the nation of IL. Okay, I don't want to say it here, guys. I get shadow banned. You know the one, right? The one that caused a geocide, that one. Well, it also was shouting out around November 6th to the 10th, around the time that Mars was on Uranus in a square, shouting out that, like ringing the alarm bells, trying to gin up concern. Oh no, because Iran is rearming itself and it's a danger to the world, la, la, la. So you're going to see President Trump involved in things to do with this situation based on June of 25 square, the opposition in November of 2020. And now we have the closing square coming up this Friday. There's a lot of talk that there is a pending military action that will happen connected to the United States and Iran. I'm not sure it will. It may. I also can see in the Substack article that I'm putting out later today that the person in charge of we'll just say Bibi is going to be facing some serious threats to his power in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see how that looks, or even his physical wellness. He may accidentally get food poisoned, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot going on all at once, because the driver for military action isn't the USA. The USA and its president and its constituent citizens, especially the ones that voted in Donald Trump, voted on no wars, no forever wars, like getting out of wars that aren't our wars to fight. Your wars, I'm Canadian. Yet there is a big blackmail operation called the E-Files that has most of Congress and the executive branch under control. And that operation was not run it was run by a foreign country, basically. And if you don't believe me, read my Substack where I prove it in the Astrology. And I'll say that this is coming to a head this week. So yes, we have some military, we have a decapitated drug cartel, right? Because Mars is squaring Algol, the decapitation head of a drug cartel, decapitated by help from the USA intelligence and the countries of Mexico. But that's not the only decapitation from power we're going to see in the next week. Okay. And so as we approach Friday in the buildup and the couple of days after, we're going to see some more maybe decapitations of leaders falling from power. Some of them may suspiciously fall ill and maybe ill enough not to be alive, or ill enough to be incapacitated in a hospital or in a coma or something like that. And we still face earthquake threat as well. So those are the major darker sides of world astrology. Let's do your sign. We're going to go quickly because I have a flu. I know I look fine. I don't feel fine. I actually felt like I was, for the first day, not dealing with an ungodly exhaustion and fatigue, but I can feel still a low-grade headache and I feel tired. So day 7. What I'm going to do is whip through the sky with you. We're going to talk about what is this last breakthrough, breakthrough energy of something you've been jackhammering away at in the fixed earth sign of Taurus in your chart. And this has been ongoing with the first conjunction in January of 21, the second conjunction of Mars and Uranus, August 2nd of 22, and the last one last summer. And this one is particularly springboarding off of summer, July 2024, your life, your last chance to make a breakthrough in an area of your life that the sky is literally calling you to do. Where will freedom, rebellion, and breakthrough and break free energy be offered up to you by the end of this week? Let's get going. Let's start with Aries and let's roll through the sky. Oops. No. I pushed the button and was almost ending my meeting. And by the way, Virgo rising from the 1810 chart with midheaven in Gemini at 5 degrees. The eclipse that we're having very soon on March the 3rd at 12 degrees of Virgo will tightly square the midheaven of Mexico. as well as sit on the ascendant of Mexico. This is not good for Lebanon, a Virgo rising nation, nor is it good for the country of Mexico. There's something going on there. I have a trip planned at the end of March. I'm not sure I'll be going. Canadian embassy has said it's a danger zone, and Air Canada has canceled its flights today. We'll see what happens. Okay. But those two countries, Lebanon and Mexico, are flashpoints this week ahead. So I wanted you guys to know that. Mexico has the drug god Neptune in Sagittarius with I can't remember what other planet, with Saturn, and it structuring drugs in the homeland. And Sagittarius means international flights or import export or whatever. So it doesn't surprise me that it's almost got this reputation as a place where drugs are originating and spreading around the world, but it's not the only country by any means. And I love the Mexican people, culture, and food. All right, so let's get going and let's start off. And I'm going to share the sky. You're going to look at a hot mess of my sky and my desk. Yeah, well, you're going to see my messy desktop. Like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I will be doing a separate video on the Mercury moving into retrograde motion on Thursday, and I have an upcoming free Mercury Kazemi webinar. Check the description box for that as well. So we're not starting with that sign. I apologize. We are not starting with you at all. We're moving ahead. We're going to go ahead by a few days to get the square tighter, a little tighter. So here's Wednesday, 26, 27, and you're feeling it all week, right? Pretty exact on Thursday, the 26th, and also you're feeling it on Friday, the 27th. There we go. Oh, sorry. Friday, the 27th, yeah. And you're also feeling it Thursday, the 26th. So it's pretty intense. But before that, all week long, that's why Mexico's in chaos right now in Puerto Vallarta. You're seeing this playing out. So we're not starting with Cancer. We're starting with Aries. So let's rotate to Aries. If we don't do that, we'll never get anywhere today. This is a quick and dirty. You want my 2026 all signs bundles or individual signs? They're still for sale. Use that to time your best life and live your 26 with a navigational time map. In this also, my all signs drop came out yesterday, your sign. Each of those videos is like 30 to 35, 40 minutes long. And why it went long? Because we have an eclipse I talked about in those all signs videos for your individual signs for the month of March. Please go check it out and love the channel with subscribing, hyping, and liking. Thank you so very much. Let's get started with Aries sun, moon, and rising. Sun is your career and purpose. Moon is your home and nest, and the rising sign is your character in the simulation. I explain this at the front of every video, and I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. My name is Lori Lothian, and let's get started. Now, because I have the flu and I'm really woozy and exhausted, if I make a mistake, kindness is a virtue. Be kind in the comments. Aries, sun, moon, and rising, it looks to me like you've been jackhammering away at the money house. This energy began to feel disruptive in 2018 as Uranus ingressed into your second house of earnings, resources, money, and food style, what you put in your nose and your mouth. You've been working really hard to make changes here that are electrifying and freedom and breakthrough and amazing. And you could go rags to riches and riches to rags under this kind of sky. You might have noticed that in July of 2020, there was the last of the three conjunctions here, kaboom, on a wealth star Algol, but also on a decapitation star. You could lose your head. You could lose your mind about money. But on the other hand, you could get quite rich. And this Uranus conjunction that happened in July of 2024 and activated in June of 25 and November of 25 is completely completing itself. Now, you want to break free and break through regarding anything to do with your financial story, money, earnings, resources, and of course, any dietary styles that are ready to go the way of the dodo bird. Now, I do think because Mars is in your 11th house, that this is also opening up some kind of story about massive change and breakthrough in your career gains. The way you earn money from the career and the way you save and earn money in general are both activated. Two money houses are going for a major lifetime shift. And this one is connected to changes you began to make all through your, like starting in January of 21, and then again in August of 22. Like for me, I'm an Aries sun and moon. Sun is my career. In August, I almost quit my channel in 21, and I kept going. In August of 22, I decided to do videos, dedicate a schedule to my YouTube drops. I became more committed to my path as an astrologer to make money on YouTube. And here I'm having another and last turning point from the conjunction of July of 20 2024, when my channel blew up because I literally called the unaliving attempt on Trump about 10 days before, and a lot of people found that out and shared it with other people. So it could be that I'm having a blow up in my career connected to my channel, or it could be I'm making some major turning point decisions around the earnings from my career and the money that I save and make, and I'm having a turning point change. On the other hand, you guys could have something to do with a sibling one older and a massive flashpoint with that relationship. You could also have a major turning point, a kind of flash of insight, a breakthrough, sort of like, oh, wait a minute, because Mars is the Lord of your sign. I'm no longer going to do the career that way. I'm going to take this twisty turn on the trail so that money can come to me in a brand new way. The worst case scenario, you could have a financial blowout regarding money and a friendship, but you've been dealing with this kind of energy here before. It's happened twice before since 2019, and you've lived to tell the tale, but it would be a sibling one older in particular where the flashpoint can exist. All right, so that's what I've got for you with a well star Algol and a direct motion Uranus. I think this could be a positive thing for you if you want to find a professional way to break free and break through. And don't forget, Pluto's up here with Mars. I guess it would be a good idea to remind us that this transformation god, but also wealth god, also, is with the story, right? So that's a whole new vibe that has a lot of intensity as well. Sometimes when Mars is in the 11th house, we quit our job, but we quit like the way that we do the money earnings, right? The gains of the career, we're going to cut something out, but it's such a flashpoint that you should have some real clarity about what you are or need to or want to cut out. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign, breaking free and breaking through has been your mantra, your rally cry, your motto ever since. What's the other word? Your work. There's another one anyway, there's a word I want for it, but you've been under this get me out of the street jacket. I want to change up my identity, Taurus rising, my career path, Taurus sun. I want to change up my home and nest, Taurus moon. Erratic electrical bolts of sky god change have been hitting you since 2018 March, and really digging in with that Mars conjunction, sort of like a earthquake in your whole reality back in January of 21 and late July, August of 22, and the midsummer of 24. It can be so many things that you want to just sort of bust free from and cut away from and blast out of that have held you back in some way. And again, Taurus sun, it's about career and purpose, and rising at your body and your identity and the simulation, and moon, it could be about your emotions and how you think about life, but about your home life. And you are like, get me out of here. I need a pattern interrupt. I need a massive change of direction about all of these things. Here we are in the last in a lifetime closing square. Mars in the 10th house squaring Uranus. It is a big deal. You are going to make changes, but it's coming through your career zone. It's coming through your reputation zone. It's coming through how people in the world see you and how you wish them to see you. Mars rules your significant business and marriage partnerships. Some of you could come blasting through with a divorce or something changing your social standing in the world, married, divorced, widowed. Some of you might just want to have a change in job. You're like, I'm out of here, like career path. I mean, I quit, or you get fired, but that's okay. Any of those things could lead to something better, something different, something more originally, truly you. So there's some disruptive energy, some unexpected developments here. With Mars, Pluto in the 10th house, there may be a sudden shocking surprise regarding a father figure in your life, or regarding the boss or the authority figure in the workplace. Maybe they're someone with a high level of Plutonian power, like the director of the company head, the CEO or something, might be getting ready to flashpoint out of the job, quitting, leaving, sayonara, I'm out of here, especially with Mercury in the house of career gains, retrograding later this week as well. So we'll see what happens. But all I can say is that use this as a springboard for a last in a lifetime opportunity to jump out of something that is already as you know, feeling like a straitjacket in your life. Is it a straitjacket long-term love story or business partnership? Is it a straitjacket career and path that you're on? The work, the career itself doesn't feel right, doesn't feel true, doesn't feel like it's for you. And this is where you can radically break out of a rut and break free of something. And you can also break free of an addiction as well under this sky, because Mars rules a house of self-undoing. And you might announce to the world that you're done forever and ever with the vape, the weed, the cigars, whatever your down. I love cigars. Whatever your downfall normally is. I brought a cigar back from Troncones, Mexico, and I need to smoke that baby once I get better. I smoke a cigar once every year or two, but I'm an aficionado, so it's a true joy to smoke a good cigar. Moving on. You are a Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, and you've got this like, whoa, break free, breakthrough flashpoint going on. And it's really strongly connected to the two parts of your sky that have been under energy fields here. Let's start with Uranus in your 12th house. You're prone to spiritual awakenings through the pineal gland, deep divine downloads, and openings in your third eye, for example. As Uranus has been moving in this part of your chart, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, ever since 2018. And you might also be open to sudden shifts and psychological shifts that are quite profound. And you might also be open to discoveries about past lives since then. And one thing is, if you make money from borderless income, digital revenue, foreign companies, foreign lands, you work in a foreign country, you work for a foreign employer, all of that, then this can also be a surge of change that you've been dealing with on and off since 2018. Now, one thing about this energy is that you have this Mars this week coming through and opening up a radical redirection breakthrough. It is about the house of God. So some of you may indeed continue on a spiritual illumination journey through knowledge, truth, and wisdom coming to you that helps illuminate the nature of your soul. Or this is a travel house, and this is disruption of travel. I have a progressed sun in Gemini, which represents my career and purpose right now. And I'm laughing because just today I found out that there is a drug cartel problem in Puerto Vallarta, and I have a ticket in 3 weeks to go there. Will I keep the ticket or not? Time will tell. But this is like the Tower and the Tarot, disruption, news, information around travel. So we'll see what goes on. But on another level, if you want to break free and break through, because both, by the way, this is a foreign country, and this is a distant shore, foreign lands as well. So there's my disruption for you, to do with death, decapitation of a foreign drug cartel leader. I think that you might think about the 9th house as a purpose, right? What is my dharma? What is the right action and meaning of my life? What does significance mean to me? If I feel like I want a purpose-driven life. That's my motto. Where's my purpose? I hate the word driven. How about a purpose-inspired life? Well, this is going to give you a flashpoint breakthrough. You kind of going to beat in on like my purpose. This is my purpose. If it's not my purpose, forget it. I'm out of here, right? So there's something going on about a real laser sharp revelation around finding this or moving in this purpose direction. This can involve teaching, writing, communicating, book publishing. This could involve international destinations, and this can involve simply just being on purpose. So lean into that story. You've been dealing with this before. You've been, feeling this 3 times. This is the 3rd time. Purpose has been hounding you with breakthrough question marks since 2019. And, go back to mid-July, last summer of 24, because that's when Mars and Uranus co-joined in Taurus on Algol, on a decapitation star, on a well star. But that's when it activated a story that's still playing out, right? So you may say, oh yeah, then I had a purpose turning point in June and another one in November of 25. And now grand finale is here. It's a grand finale. You won't have it again in this lifetime unless you live another 80 odd years. So you run with it while it's hot, right? Okay. Purpose calls you in flashpoints of aha moments this week ahead. All right, Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm speaking fast because I have an appointment that I can't cancel despite the fact that I have the flu. And I want to get this done before my brain turns to mush. Certainly, one of the things I want you to be clear about as a Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign, you don't like war. You're a lover, not a fighter, unless you're fighting for your homeland. I love you guys. Mars is in a place in the sky relative to Uranus, where this week ahead could bring you a sudden surge of money. Yes, I said it, money. It will feel like a windfall, like pennies from heaven, like wealth has descended on your head. Yay, you. It can be money from a tax rebate, an insurance payout, or an inheritance, or a spousal support, or from a sibling one older, or from a golden career opportunity with a significant advance of money, like book publishing or something. And whatever this is, it feels like you could have a financial breakthrough. However, the other element of the story is some flashpoints connected to your own inner workings to do with spiritual enlightenment or spiritual deepening or spiritual illumination, divesting from your egoic identity. You might go back and consider that this is all really, stemming deeply from last July when we had this energy of Uranus conjunct Mars in your house of great career gains and windfalls and pennies from heaven and good fortune. Mars rules your house of winning money. Certainly this week ahead for you, please play a lottery ticket. Yeah, you could win, or it could feel like the way the money scene's going, you're winning in life. It feels like good fortune. It feels like you won the jackpot. You might also notice that this could also be connected to your children, and there may be a flashpoint of surprise regarding one of your children and something going on in their life this week ahead. It may have little to do with you and everything to do with them. And this is to remind you that you've been dealing with this erratic change energy in a career gains house. Specifically, January of 2021 and August of 2022, and the last conjunction here with Mars and Uranus, as I said, mid-July of 24. And you keep trying to jackhammer stagnation in how you make money in your career and the gains and the earnings and the rewards of your career. You want to break out of molds and break free and do things differently in brand new ways, including using the internet for money, because the internet is ruled by Uranus. That's what I got for you. I'm going to take a quick pause. I'm going to just very quickly stop this share. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm very quickly going to get something that looks like sugar in my body. I'm sugar lowing, and I shall be right back. I'm back from half a banana. Yay me. And also half a banana and some yogurt. Okay, let's get this show on the road. We're moving into Leos, which of course you guys love when I bring up Donald Trump. He just happens to be a Leo rising. I can't count the times people go, he's not a Leo, he's a Gemini. No, he's a Leo rising, and he's a Gemini sun. So let's go ahead and talk about Leo folk. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Watch out for open enemies. Okay. This is like trolls attacking you. You don't want, anytime Mars is in the 7th house, if you do have an open enemy, someone doesn't have your back, watch out for the vitriol, right? So there is just that, right? That's Donald Trump. You should be watching out for open enemies right now. Yeah. Just like July of 2024. So back in 2020, okay, let's go to the basics. Leo, I'm reminding you, big shakeups in your career space, changes of career path, changes of reputation, status, married, divorced, widowed, thunderbolts of change since 2018. Uranus is 7-year transit through here. Then on top of that, Uranus is finishing up, last in a lifetime in relationship to Mars for freedom, breakthrough, break free, or revolution. You probably, since 2018, went through some significant breakups in the wake of January of 21 and August of 22's Mars-Uranus conjunctions in your 10th house, squaring, of course, your 7th. And then, you probably had at least, Leos, one shake and bake in the house of long-term love, right? Since 2018, one breakup, right? All of you, let me know in the comments if that's happened. And if not, some really intense energy that felt like you could break up in a long-term marriage situation since 2018. And that's going to go away, and Uranus will stop moving. He'll move past that shake and bake in your 10th house, squaring your 7th, not to worry, in April. This is a last in a lifetime. It's in your career sector that Uranus is still activating, in reputation. Mars is in the house of long-term committed love. Yes, this is one of those. It's pretty darn gnarly for the potential for you to have some kind of blowout with some person in your life that you would call a spouse, business partner that's really powerfully significant to you, or a very significant relationship in your life. And if you go back to mid-July of 2020, 4, when your Uranus and Mars were co-joined in your 10th house. That's the closest you have to like, that's what this is about. This is the finish line of that longer story. And if you go back to June and November, did you have tension in a business or love partnership situation? Because it can be that this is the final escalation. And it can involve also separation for some reason from a significant other, either geographically or by divorce and all of that. Now, there can be a sudden shearing away or cutting or severing that you didn't expect of a career position relative to legal contracts and agreements, like a fracture or a breach in the agreement. So there is that, the job is ending, they just terminating your position and your contract is null and void. That's a story that I could make from this. Mars will your home and property and land and real estate, right? He's the god of your 4th house. And it's possible that angle that he's at, there could be an abrupt or sudden need to change your home. It may be connected to a relationship situation or a career situation, or it could be connected to some shaking earth even. I mean, but if you suddenly need to change your home for some reason and you didn't plan on it, and that might have happened to you at least a couple of times in the last since 2018, then you probably aren't going to be surprised. Mars can also change your home and be very expatty, changing to it like an expatriate, changing to another country, even as an example. But certainly some radical, exciting developments here regarding the potential by the end of this week for changes in career, relationship, and home. What isn't in here? Yeah, it's all happening all at once. Unexpected opportunity for international travel connected to work, or disruption of international travel connected to work or marriage partnerships. Okay, those are stories coming up this week ahead for you. At a deep level, you're trying to jackhammer into some inventive freedom breakthrough vibe in your career segment. And you won't be getting this again. So if there's something you're really trying to accomplish or achieve, like I don't want to be in a straitjacket in my career, and you really want to be feeling free and liberated and alive and original, then this is the last chance for that. This is really galvanizing a turning point energy for you. And then this will not be back for 80 years. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a story of electrical change and unexpected disruptions that you've been dealing with since 2018 in your 9th house, which is higher education, foreign distance lands and travel, priests, pastors, and religious ideologies, spiritual stuff, court and legal cases and matters. And simply like, for example, my Virgo rising girlfriend has used Uranus since 2018 to travel the world. I mean, she wasn't a big world traveler. And now since she's 2018, she's traveled everywhere, exotic locations. So you Virgo rising girlfriend. So you could find yourself, or Virgo sun, you could find yourself, really wanting to like capitalize on the last chance for some crazy international adventure. That's a possibility. But you also have been dealing with Uranus here, co-joining Mars every, January of 21, August of 2022, July of 2024, kaboom, 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 Uranus, and Mars in the 9th house, which could shatter your spiritual ideology, which could completely revolutionize your view of a spiritual philosophy of life. This is about purpose and meaning of life. And you've been shattering through and breaking free of straitjackets that have held you back from seeing the potential for who you really are in this simulation, what your real purpose is, especially for the Virgo rising and Virgo sun. And in any which way that your true purpose has not been able to express itself, this is the last chance to see the light. And it's particularly connected to the work that you do in this world. And if the work that you do in this world isn't right for you, this can be a breakup with your job. This could be a fracture point, an ending, and it will be just fine because you want to move into a purposeful alignment and you don't want to be stuck in some kind of job that you feel you do just because you must. You could also have a sudden fracture or exciting breakthrough regarding debts that you owe, or pets, or rental property, which was where Mars is sitting. and maybe a rental property that brings you into greater alignment with purpose, or is it a rental property connected to a foreign land or distant place? And my daughter went through this as a Virgo rising, and it was like academics, right? 2018, she went off to university, and all of this has been disruptions in her education, timeouts, changes of schools, changes of majors. So now my daughter, who's a working girl at 26 years old, might find herself having a purpose breakthrough somewhere at the end of this week. There could be a health matter that maybe a father figure deals with this week ahead by the end of this week. That's another thing that could happen for any Virgo, sun, moon, and rising people. And with Mars being the ruler of your Scorpio third house, this looks like an exciting or sudden or exhilarating change of location to do with town, city, or where your domicile is, especially if it involves a rental property. It's so funny. My daughter's moving into a new rental property this week ahead, and I'm wondering how this will look in terms of unexpected surprises. So we'll see what goes on, or just the freedom of the new place, which is perfect for who she and her partner are. So this is a story that would look good on her, perhaps, but also I don't know what the surprise could be. Hopefully not a disruption. Oh my God, every mother, there's an expression, parents are only as happy as their most miserable child. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Looks really clear to me that you're going to have a grand finale, last in a lifetime breakthrough. And it may involve some money that you don't earn or that you share with other people in your eighth house of chunky money. Ask yourself, how has your taxes, your loans, your mortgages, your leverage monies, your shareholder monies, your shared spousal monies, your inheritance monies looked on you since 2018? Because I mean, can be surges or electrical bolts of change in that kind of finances, right? Uranus is now on Algol. When it's not a decapitation, it's a wealth star. And potentially there may be some surge of unexpected money coming your way, or a breakthrough regarding matters of financial stories. However, it could also be a matter of a financial breakthrough if you are entrepreneurial or artistic, or if it's a connection to one of your children. And so there can be some money shifts and breakthroughs there. I need to open a window, believe it or not. I can't get a temperature right on this place. I have no heat on in my house, right? The heat's off and it's not warm out there. And I'm not menopausal at that level, but holy man, temperature changes. You can win money in competitive games of chance in the fifth house. Mars is very athletic. He could say, let's compete in a house of winning money through gambling and speculation. I wouldn't encourage you to go overboard, but with a wealth god in your good fortune house and Mars doing a last in a lifetime surprise in the house of chunky money, you could win some money, especially given Mars rules your pocketbook, wallet, the money that you possess. And you could come into an unexpected surge of money. Now, Mars exalts your fourth house, and it could be through the sale of a property, and you're just taking possession of money that was in escrow. But whatever it is, it feels like a very freedom and breakthrough happens through the acquisition of a chunk of money for some of you Libras by the end of this week. You could have a creative or artistic breakthrough as well. With Uranus up here in your eighth house, if you're into enlightenment and spiritual awakening, that could happen, but it may happen in the pursuit of something entrepreneurial, creative, or connected to children or romantic love partners. Because Mars does rule your money house and Uranus is in a chunky money house, and money through good fortune happens in the fifth house, you feel maybe like this is a week by the week's end where you win in the game of money, whatever that means to you, right? And it may even look like a new situation to do with a contract or agreement, legal one, that also increases your financial success in some way. Looking at that for this week ahead. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, if you go back to 2018, when Uranus first ingressed into your seventh house, your long-term committed love relationships have been original, eccentric, outside the box, freedom and independence would have been a value between you and anyone you dated and, well, anyone you committed to in love. Maybe you guys did marriage sabbaticals, polyamory, time off from each other. You did it differently, or your partner wanted to. On the other hand, this energy, it does allow for a lot of excitement and freedom within the context of committed love. And this energy, if you were stuck in the mud and you wanted it to look traditional, this would not allow for that. And if you're a Scorpio sun, moon, and rising, you may have had some unexpected shocks and surprises starting in 2018 connected to committed love stories. I know a Scorpio female whose husband walked out one day after having an affair with an employee. I mean, shock, right? So if you didn't get shocked, then you got electrified with exciting changes and exhilarating co-freedoms and interdependence and love. Now, Uranus here is at the tail end of the story. He's on a wealth star. He's on a decapitation star. He's, finishing up something he started in mid-July of 2024 in your marriage and relationship house, electrifying some change there. For example, my Scorpio rising sun got married after that one in July of 24 and is now having a baby. So a lot of changes happened because of that conjunction in July of 2024. You might consider that this energy in a square to Mars is also inviting you, as it has 3 times since 2018, to change where you live. Your home, move your home. Suddenly, it seems like a good idea. Suddenly, you get an offer to sell your home. Someone wants to buy it. Suddenly, you see the dream property, you want to purchase it. But there is something about a sudden change in the home. Otherwise, you could have a terrible blowout with your significant other. If you're, someone you live with, you're married to them, and you could have a really fractious moment this week with some kind of real big disagreement. So be cautious. Otherwise, this could be like you and a partner or want to move, or someone you want to make a deal or sign a contract to move your home. Rental property opportunities in particular, with Mars ruling your 6th house, suddenly showing up for you to lease your home out or rent a property yourself. And it's just happening very swiftly, exciting, breaking free, breaking through. An exhilarating change of domicile is a potential possibility here. Mars rules you, so he's trying his best to give you what you need and what you want in commitment, in love commitments, in long-term relationship and domicile. This will include opportunities for leasing a property or renting out your own home, and maybe an unexpected opportunity to procure a pet. You had no plans. Suddenly the pet's on your doorstep. It's a beautiful animal. You can't find the owner. Next thing you know, you got an animal. So there's that kind of thing that could surge into your reality as well. Let me know what happens with this square. And hopefully you don't have a massive disagreement with someone in your life that's important to you. I would be cautious with that. Try to use it like break free and break through in relationship in regards to your home life and situation at home. And some of you might change your job. Your employment is rentals and employment. So you may have a sudden change in your employment structures, a sudden shift in your home, but also a sudden shift in your employment. Funny enough, with Jupiter coming into your 10th house this summer, don't worry about it. He'll be here like beginning of July, all the way through a year. So all things will work out. But if there's a fracture in your job situation, it will be for the best, trust me. But it may surprise you. And it may also require a change of home. Could be a positive change in your job where you got a new job and you have to move as well. This week ahead, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. It looks like you got to go back in time to 2018, remind yourself that you've got this story of a lot of electrical change and jack-in-the-box surprises with Uranus in the work house and the health house. And you've gone through some unexpected developments with your health, especially your nervous system, and also perhaps with your neck. And you've been dealing neck and shoulders, Taurus, and you've been dealing with that erratic energy, maybe some of you, especially rising, Sag rising. On the other hand, this could be your work situation, right? And so Algol, decapitation, Mars can represent online, social media, local neighborhood, brick and mortar business, and a sudden change. So if you have a job or you do work, there may be a sudden breakthrough, break free, or change in that stature of your work related to your local environment coming up this week ahead. If you want to change your home because you want to, say, move to a different neighborhood, Mars likes to move to new neighborhoods in the 3rd house, yes. But be also careful for a health challenge because of road rage or a driving car incident or a pedestrian incident. You want to be careful this week ahead. Okay. The threat kind of ends by Sunday at the latest about injury through moving traffic, vehicles, and forms of transportation locally. Okay. That's your warning, Sagittarius. You could have a blowout with a sibling. Any sibling in particular will do, in some kind of really profound breakthrough. If it's not a blowout, it could be a breakthrough with a sibling, not necessarily all negative. And it could be a sibling too younger in particular, but siblings in general. Like, do you want to take a trip and now there's some surprising disruption to your journey? It will likely be more of a domestic trip, something local or in your own country. And there could be a travel disruption and maybe it connected to developments to do with your job or your work or your health and an unexpected travel disruption. But the deeper story is you're really looking at how to make breakthroughs in your livelihood, your work, your job, your service in this world. And you want this to like reflect who you really are. And there may be some changes. It's also possibly something to do with debts, situations with money and indebtedness really coming to a head, especially with a sibling. All right, this week ahead. Or a neighbor. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, Cappies, you have this Uranus in your fifth house of sex and romance since 2018, and your house of children. Disruptive things with sex, romance, and children began in 2018. Now, every once in a while, January of 21, August of 22, and July of 24, Uranus was joining Mars in a house that is about sex and romance. And if you go back through all of those times I've mentioned, you probably found that you were literally having a lot of change that you weren't planning on when it comes to committed and long-term love. And romantic love, not committed, not marriages, like dating, dating love. And you might have also gone way outside the box. Uranus means to explore uncharted territory in love, polyamory, same-sex sex, and all that kind of stuff, just breaking the rules and doing it differently because you're typically a traditionalist with a Taurus fixed fifth house. Some of you might have had some money breakthroughs. This can bring like a big surge of money, especially on Algol this week, but it started in July of 24. And there could be some financial surges through what you feel is speculative gambling, stock investment speculation, winning money in a lottery ticket. And with Mars in a money that you possess with Pluto, wealth god, I'll give you this. It's a good week because Mars rules your house of pennies from heaven, your 11th house, to play a lottery ticket. Know your limit, play within it. But if you don't play the ticket, you can't win. So this whole week could be a financial breakthrough connected to winning money and some breakthroughs in romance, sex, and love. But if there are those breakthroughs, it may happen through financial situations or conversations. Mars is the guy who talks forcefully in your second house. But the deeper story, and you want to go back to mid-July of 24. What was going on in your romantic life then? Because whatever was happening mid-July of 2024, this is the final closing chapter. Mars rules the house of where you live. There may be an unexpected change of home coming up connected to money or children or romance. So watch for that. And Mars also rules your house of pennies from heaven. So again, a windfall or a change of home connected to friends or those are what I've got. I would also say that with Uranus here, and he's in direct motion, and Mars is also not yet visible. Any surges of change that want to happen in money and children and love and romance and maybe home. Some of them, there could be a free breakthrough this week ahead, but you might not see the full results like manifesting until after mid-March when Mars becomes visible. So it's almost like an electric current of directionality. You know which direction you want to go in those themes, but they don't materialize until after mid-March. But you know which direction to head in is what I'm trying to say, especially regarding a change of home with the chironic wound still plugging away in your fourth house. Yeah. Let's keep going. Mars loves you, Cappies. He exalts you, so hang in there. Oh, we went way past my sign. I'm a Aquarius. I am one of you. I need a mug. I need to do merch. I am one of you. We have this story, guys. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your astrologer has the flu, and now she has a blistering headache. So she's pushing through for you. The show must go on. Uranus in the fourth house is like, have you noticed that your home life has been disrupted or where you live has changed a lot since 2018? I sure have. And also, have you had any surges of success through fourth house things, working from home on the internet? That's a transit of Uranus to the fourth house. And have you had insights, ahas, and breakthroughs about your childhood? I have. All of those are true since 2018. However, big changes of home may have been initiated by the Mars-Uranus conjunction in January of 21, August of 22, and now July of 24. Yes, indeedy, Lori can testify as Aquarius rising that I moved after the January 21 conjunction from Montreal to Vancouver. I moved in the August of 22 into a new rental property from another rental property, and it was unexpected because the owner of the rental property wanted to take it back all of a sudden. And the third move was to the place I'm in now because my landlord decided to sell the home. Each of these conjunctions led to a new home. So we have been under a lot of electric radical shifts that we may not have planned about whom we live with, what we're doing in the home, and what home we live in. Now, this week, Mars is in your court. Pluto and Mars are on your side. You're in your Aquarius sun on your side of your career, moon, home and domestic life and feelings, and rising, just the whole damn character view. And this is important. Mars rules your career house, your 10th house of career. And Mars rules your third house of writing, communicating, traveling, and social media. We can say there could be some travel disruptions. Yes, I probably can't go to Mexico because there's a cartel war on there, but in Puerto Vallarta. But there's also potential translations here of major breakthroughs from the perspective of things you've been doing in your home and making decisions and taking actions, Mars in the first house, disrupting the pattern interrupt in how you express your career and also how you express things to do with writing, communicating, teaching, and the social media, online media landscape. Whatever this is, you've had it twice before. So you've had these ahas and breakthroughs. I don't know, like one day I woke up and said, I'm going to do a Monday weekly all signs every week. It was a big hit with you guys, but that was a, aha, breakthrough. I'm going to do it differently, right? You get the vibe, right? So it's another one of those, right? Aha moments, breakthrough moments that you're going to perceive directly and understand that you will be taking action on it, probably not visibly until mid-March when Mars is visible, but you will be taking action on the breakthrough aha moment that you're going to get throughout the end of this week till the end of this week. So illumination is particularly Thursday and Friday, like big ahas. Let's see. Siblings. Mars rules the house of siblings. Some major electrical currents connected to siblings. I don't know what they are. Could be about the sibling, in the life of a sibling, particularly a sibling one younger, but any siblings in general, and some big like earth-shattering information, news, or developments in the life of a sibling that somehow connects the dot to you, right? And you might make some actions and decisions based on what the hell is happening regarding the life of a sibling or the people in the life of a sibling, or the siblings' friends, family, or whatever. So it may not just be one thing. It may be about their whole world, and you get called in or pulled in this week ahead. And you might have had this happen before because Mars has squared Uranus here twice before since 2018, where there's this like sibling overlap for you. Okay, let's go ahead and do the last sign. I'm losing my voice and I need to blow my nose and I have a headache. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. Mars is in your 12th house and he's squaring Uranus in your third. You have to go back in time to 2018 to notice that you've had disruptive, electrical, unexpected change or breakthrough energy in your third house. Your third house is your short distance travel, your local community, the daily places you go to, It is people like your siblings, sometimes aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. It's your neighborhood and your neighbors. And it's also your social media online world and places where you can write or communicate and sometimes teach or market or sell or learn. And all of those third house themes have been very activated. So, but there's also been disruptions here and unexpected twists and turns in the tale. Now, with Uranus here this week, it takes you back to July of 2022, to July of 2024, when we had this square that you're looking at here. Now, that could involve many different things. Somebody you know had to go into the hospital. You had an unexpected break free or breakthrough, energy. Well, now you could have someone going into the hospital. But back in July of 24, you might have had a breakthrough, or disruption regarding a planned trip. So my Pisces rising sister did not take a trip she had planned to visit me and my other sister, her siblings, in July of 2000 and mid-July of 2024. I had rented a whole house on a cottage for us, and she didn't make the trip. So you see what I'm saying, right? Disruptions in travel plans. But this is a little bit different. This is like Mars is saying, from deep in the depths of hospitals and jails, or money made from international borderless revenue, I have a breakthrough in the house of social media, short distance travel, siblings, writing, communicating. Now, it can be positive. It can be a breakthrough moment. After all, you do have Jupiter trining you from the 5th house right now, giving you superior luck and blessings. And so you could launch a course, put out a sale, put up a social media post and go viral. This could lead to that kind of success. If you have any health challenges that require doctors or testing or hospitals or clinics, you could have a breakthrough moment. Something positive could be happening. Some interesting communications, emails, or news that look like it's favoring you, and you're going to come out okay. And Mars is a ruler of your 2nd house of earnings. Sudden changes in your dietary habits or earnings or money could happen here in unexpected ways. It feels like a bit of a breakthrough. It could also involve assistance from a sibling or an extended relative, like a cousin or niece or nephew. And Mars is also the ruler of your 9th house of foreign lands and foreign travel, but also book publishing. Uranus is in the house of writing. And if you've been working hard in the background on a writing project, you may have a book publishing agreement, deal, publications, breakthrough, all of those good things. Whatever this is too, if you are dealing with any kind of addictions or self-undoing patterns, there's a shearing away here. There's like, oh my God, the last in a lifetime chance to cut, end, and sever and break through. It doesn't have to be a substance misuse disorder or whatever. It could be like self-defeating patterns, self-sabotaging patterns, being your own worst enemy and cracking the code and moving past that for good for the rest of your life as you go deep under the surface here with Pluto and shatter the way you hold yourself back. Because when we escape to substance abuse, this is no different than having a self-sabotaging psychological or emotional pattern as well. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am going to get this video out if it come hell or friggin' high water on Monday. I'm recording it a day before. Watch my great interview with Olga Morales on the time loops, the mysterious 33-year cycle in astrology. I loved recording that with her. She's an amazing astrologer. Check that out as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. No outro today. This girl's going to take care of her body. It's been 7 days into this flu. Today is the best day so far. Yesterday was probably the worst day. So I think I'm on the other side. Bye, everyone. Take care. Lunatic astrology.